About 2,250 members of the Canadian Armed Forces were deployed to assist responders to ongoing floods in Quebec, Canada this past weekend. An estimated 300 homes have been evacuated across Quebec, and almost 2,000 people were evacuated from their homes in the preceding week.
Transformers blowing, yeah, that's a tornado for sure. Well, we're back at it. The work week's here. We're saying goodbye to one nasty storm system to the east and hello to a brand new one for this week. And we have rounds of severe weather to talk about. So the tale of two halves of the country with this pattern change.
So it took me a couple days to regain equilibrium on my perspective. And right now, I don't have a lot of time or peace of mind for negativity. The weather for the next 2 weeks of May will be severe. And I would like to remind everyone that no nation, organization, or group foresaw all the variables going into these celestial events. We will survive this, and we will thrive as one Earth family. So I'm back in the game, and this is deadly serious.
Well, big changes on the way. We could be looking at some of the warmest air of the season coming into play from the mid-Atlantic on up.
This is going to feel like the middle of summer. And we're also looking at some mountain snow.
Yeah, we're talking a May snowstorm that is shaping up.
So you're thinking, okay, we're in mid-May and we're looking at snow.
The pattern is changing, and while that may not seem very exciting for some, it's going to be really exciting for some others. Okay.
Hit the button, baby. And here we go. I need your love. This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents Stay Cool.
We are going from cool to downright hot by the middle of the week. And boy, things are going to really start to get steamy.
Let's talk about how hot we're going to get. Just be careful because we are looking at snow.
As we begin to see that jet stream begin to ridge a bit for us, we're going to see a surge of temperatures that are going to push between 10 to 15 degrees above the norm for this time of the year.
We'll see high temperatures soaring through the 80s and even into the 90s.
DC, 89 degrees near 90. Boston, near 80 for Thursday.
We anticipate typical July kind of conditions actually for us.
There's a look at Madison, Wisconsin. They picked up about a half inch of rain yesterday. More rain on the way, and it looks like the heaviest rain this week could be today through parts of the upper Midwest.
Well, we're going to see a very wet, active weather pattern here across West Texas and the Central Plains as we head towards midweek.
So we're bracing for severe thunderstorms for today, going into tonight actually. We're expecting flooding downpours, heavy downpours, possibly at a rate to 1 to 1.5 inches an hour could be in some isolated areas. Damaging winds likely to peak between about 45 to even 65 mile per hour winds when these storms form.
We do have a high tornado threat for today.
Damaging hail likely a part of the mix, and we cannot rule out the possibility of tornadoes. Now that's going to reach up towards Minneapolis, affecting travel along I-35, I-80, I-70, as well as I-40, because this swath of severe weather goes from Minneapolis, Lincoln, Des Moines, down through Wichita, hitting Oklahoma City, and then hitting Wichita Falls, just to name a few. And then for Wednesday, we're expecting to continue to stay wet and very windy with the same low powering its way to the northeast.
So these storms are going to get going in the afternoon through the evening. This is a system that is parking itself through the middle part of the country. So these storms are going to linger through the bulk of the week. We also have a late week threat through parts of the southern plains that stretch from Texas all the way up to Oklahoma City. And Friday, the beat goes on. Now, a lot of rain with this system, especially up to the north. We could have widespread amounts of where you see that yellow, 3 to 5 inches of rain.
A big dip in the jet stream is going to bring some cold air and the opportunity for snow.
But it's going to add a tinge of instability in the area.
So we're going to watch this disturbance as it develops out through the Pacific Northwest and moves into the Rockies. So this is going to be more of a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday situation. Now, where we could see the highest snow threat right through the end of the week, well, it's going to come in that corridor from Jackson Hole all the way down to Vail. That's where we could have several inches.
The Ottawa River overflowed its banks in historic flooding in Gatineau, Canada, after days of torrential rain. But many residents are facing weeks or months of renovations that could cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Thor News wild, weird weather, action, adventure, horror film, fantasy, romance. I'm your host, Star-Lord New Thor 7, and we are about to get back down into serious business. Now I keep running, folks. We're saying the weather isn't weird. This is normal. And I say, Oh no, when you have historic record flooding in Canada, the United States, specifically along the Mississippi, Mexico, South America, Australia, pretty much across the globe, the weather is not normal, and it shall continue to get weirder.
Now, as we go into the latter portions of the week, because of the storms that we've just talked about, we're going to be bracing for a chance of moderate chances of flooding to occur pretty steadily throughout the later portions of the week.
Then the next round of severe weather comes in late week.
For Thursday, we could possibly see some records broken. A little peek at some of those records. 90s in Boston, set back in 1936. That's 91 degrees to be exact. In Albany, record temp on Thursday is 94, set back in 1962. New York City will be challenging the record of 90 degrees, set in 1936.
Incredible images of a tornado. This was on the southeast side of Baton Rouge.
Well, it's going to be a dreary week ahead here for folks across the Pacific Northwest.
Important to note with these systems on the northern edge, there will be a lot of rain with this.
You are going to contend with some flooding. So that's the second thing you need to know is the fact that we have some flooding potential with that.
So we could get some flash flooding and about 3 to 5 inches likely through Saturday.
Here are your rain totals. Beware of flash flooding. We've already seen some of that happening in the New Orleans area.
The culprit is this trough. You see this dip in the jet stream? That's bringing some significantly colder air aloft. So that's going to keep things quite dreary and damp here for folks in Portland as well as Seattle.
Wednesday is when the real hot stuff starts to work in. Look at this, 82 in Boston, 88 in New York. D.C., here you go. You're making it into the 90s.
Third thing is the snow. Yes, with this pattern change, the west is going to see some snowflakes, especially through the Cascades.
And then later in the week, there's your late week threat. Now, this is going to stretch from Thursday to Friday. So we'll have a Thursday, Friday threat. Again, can't rule out tornadoes with any of this, but
it's been really warm in places like Omaha. By the time we get to Saturday, your high is 75 degrees and gorgeous next week. So hold on for next week because, yes, you are going to get through some thunderstorms as well, like Friday for Omaha as well as Kansas City.
Hail. Take a look at that in Burdett, New York. That was from this weekend. The nasty nor'easter.
You're going to see far more of this today. Hail. That's going to be the primary driver.
So Minneapolis, Wisconsin, northern Michigan, you could stand to pick up 3 to 5 right through the week.
In some places in the southeast, you're going to be just plain hot. Not going to rule out a tornado, a possibility of one, but look at the timing of this because we're really focusing in on southeast Louisiana, parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and then early Saturday morning we see these storms start to roll into the Florida Panhandle and then through South Georgia, South Alabama before making their way a little bit farther north. Man, just a lot of transformers blowing with this, so a lot of power outage problems and a lot of hail in and around the system. So
Whitson and Fisher currently performing what are known as buddy checks, basically checking each other's spacesuit configuration.
Buddy check time. So we're turning this thing into a buddy film, and that is great. And that is great, because if there's one thing the world needs, it's more comedy, more laughter. So who wants to be a unicorn? Because I need about 99 more unicorns. Because you'd be surprised what 100 unicorns can do.
So here we go again.
If it's happening in a galaxy, then toys all over it. Hurricanes, solar flares, planet X. How humanity's gonna destroy itself at each other's necks. Yeah, I don't know if you know this. No, I don't know if you know this. Oh no, today's always baby. Oh no, today's the one, baby. Oh no, today's always baby. Oh no, today's the one, baby.
It's like, how weird is it on Earth right now? It's so weird. I'm talking about a dog named Siri, saved from a sinkhole, and June snowstorms. These are oh shit type of events. Like, oh shit, what was that?
Well, we have more snow on the way.